Poppy here. As you can see, we're out in the shop and we're going to be cutting, well, polishing opal. Usually I don't like videos where the host goes yak, 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 yak for 15 minutes, does a minute and a half of work. I'm not going to do that. But if you have noticed a lower resolution on the image here, it's because I'm using my Logitech webcam, and I'm not going to risk moving my new eye back and forth and back and forth. I don't need the resolution out here, and I got it set up on the drill press attachment in the computer room over there. So without further ado, there we go. Sometimes it's just a little tardy. No, t'other way. Ah. Okay, so from basically you can see the whole wheel now. Okay, I put the 3000 grit diamond slurry here, and each blob's slurry got its drop of mineral oil, which is the lubricant I use for my diamond slurries. It's the one Logitech recommended. And since, you know, they're making the stuff, I figured they might know a thing or two. You know, they may have done a minute and a half's worth of research. I know I'd have done a minute and a half's worth of research. Oh, where the... Of course, they're back here. Now, as I've been saying, one piece of this half a sheet paper towel per grit. I don't reuse paper towels from grit to grit. The phrase is cross-contamination. Now that's bad. Very, very bad. Because if you cross-contaminate, say, like 14,000 grit diamond finish with a 240 grit grain, it's not good at all. Okay, so now, like I said, this is 3000 grit. Now, even though it is a real soft surface, slow speed, that's best to keep it moving, because you can polish through someplace where you don't want to. That leads to a whole bunch of rectification. You notice at the girdle and just above it, I'm not going all the way around. I'm having all kinds of camera problems tonight. So I'm going to go in, wash these 4 stones and my hands, and bring out the other camera. Because I can't record when the camera and the computer is saying, lost contact with camera. I'll be back. You've been warned. I will be back. Hey gang, I'm back. I went in the house and I sterilized my paws and I washed these stones. Let me That's a 3000 polish, 3000 grit diamond slurry on leather. Now, this is the 8000 disc. And not that I really need to put fresh compound on these flaps, but it's been more than 10 years since I did any lapidary, so 114, 8. And here's 50, which goes before 100. All that happiness. There. And of course, a drop of mineral oil. That's all this is mineral oil. And let me put my computer glasses over here by the computer so I can put on the real world glasses. Oh shit. How did that happen? Great. Just bloody great. Well, glasses for books are unusable. I have to use with computer squints. Okay. All right. Atomic batteries to power. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Mix this all over there. Okay, now you see I've sort of randomized and lubricated it and all that. That's because, you want to spread it out. Now, I'm not really losing diamond off these discs. It embeds in. But every once in a while, if I want to cut fast, well, polish fast, yeah. So here we are, 8,000 grit. And there you see why I thoroughly clean my hands between slurry grains. And let's take a look at this one. Red and green and blue, and they're quite directional. And I'm giving this one extra time at this grit because I saw a couple of teeny tiny little itty bitty scratches. Take a look at you. Beautiful. That's ready for washing and going to the next step. Next. Wait a minute. I'm going to have me some iced coffee. Earlier I said that if you notice the lower resolution on my image here in this video, it's because I was using my Logitech webcam, not my new i60. Well, guess what? Computer just kept on saying, lost contact, lost contact, lost contact. And I did about 15 minutes and forgot to push the record button. Well, that happens with YouTubers a lot. I've heard just about every other YouTuber, one time or another in one of their videos said, "I forgot to push record." Okay, there's this. It's a jelly base with that green stripe going diagonal across it. And here is, so far it's the prettiest stone that I've cut out of this parcel. And about this parcel, it came from Lux Opal online. That's his eBay seller name. In a couple days I'm gonna order some more stuff from him. I'm gonna say, hey, for my next order, which will probably be like January, give you plenty of time to prepare for me. I'm going to say, hey, I like your stuff, and yada, 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 you know. And then say, hey, I want one $100 rock, Australian, $100 rock. Don't be afraid to make it really big. Yeah. But I'm going to tell them, hey, I want $100 rock in January, you know. And on eBay, once you push pay, you can give a message to the sender. And of course the message will have something like, in January, send me an email, or, tell me that special parcel for Poppy's Workshop, so that eBay can't complain that they got cut out, working the girdle and the transition of this stone, because it needs it a bit. Beautiful. Really, 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 really pretty. Yes, it is. I wouldn't lie to you. Well, anyway, if Lux Opal Online, eBay seller name, if you're watching this video, when you see my next order in a couple of days and message to seller talking about January, you'll know what I need, know what I'm talking about. But if you're not, and this one here has a serpent pattern going diagonal this way. Micro serpent. Deformed worms. Anyway, it's rather pretty. I am glad I didn't take this tan colored potch off the back. Did that just go pop? That's not good. Okay. I'm going to go in, wash these 4 stones and my dirty little hoofies. I shall return. I'll be back. You've been warned. Hey gang, Puppy here, and I'm back. If you've noticed better resolution on the image, it's because I went in and I brought out the new i60 webcam because for some reason the Logitech just don't want to behave. Okay, get a little bit of the excess off of here. Very pretty. Ooh. Did you see that? That little flash of green. And this one is a lot of color, all small. Can't make up its mind if it's going to be pin or wildflower or jigsaw. Red, green, blue. These first two stones, when I finish getting them to 100,000 grit, and then I undop them, I'm going to redop them and polish the other sides because they're sort of lenticular cut. I'm not necessarily going to make them two-sided stones. They're a bit small to really pull that off good, in my opinion. But I want to know which side of those two is the better side. And then I'll work the girdle. That's taking a nice polish. 3 down. 1 to go. And look at this one. Lots of color. Reds and greens. Wildflower. Definitely I'm going to call it wildflower pattern because that's what it looks like to me. Wildflowers. Yeah. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah. Off with the 14,000 grit. Now, hey, there goes 14,000. And here comes 50,000. Hey, I'm going to put this here. Okay, I'm going to go in the house, clean the stones, clean my hands. I'll be right back. I'll be back. Hey gang, as you can see I'm back. 50,000 grit diamond on leather. Give me another paper toweloid. Like I said, I don't reuse the paper towels from grit to grit, and I don't like to reuse them from session to session because it's hard to keep them straight with what grit they belong to. So, used to be paper towels was cheap. Of course, I was born in 1956, so I remember a lot of old stuff. Old stuff. You notice I didn't put any new compound on this lathe. That's because I'm depending more on, I'm depending more intensely on the friction because a microscopic smear, the high points of them scratches sort of ooze down, Now that's one of the two competing ideas of how polishing works. The other one is straight out abrasive. You start with a coarse abrasive and knock down the high spots till it's all frosted. And you come along behind that with a less coarse abrasive, and you go across those sanding lines that the last piece of sandpaper left, or diamond lap. Of course, with cabochons, they keep it moving, don't generate flat spots. Take a look at you. Oh, red and green and blue. And some of them are, oh, that is the most beautiful one out of this session so far. Here's that wildflower. Apropos of nothing other than something to talk about. The other day I was watching a YouTube video made by the creator whose username is capital A V capital E. People say it AVE. He lives in British Columbia, and he seems to have a small farm and somewhat of a computer numerical control business that he's involved in. I don't know if he's the owner, partner. That farmer AVE, you know, he does good work, so I pay him, you know, whatever. Anyway, 2 of his videos ago, he showed this dead mouse that got snuffed by a snap mousetrap. And he brought us in, look right very carefully at it to show a botfly larva sticking just out of the side of Mickey Mouse. Then he gets a pair of tweezers and he pulls it out and shows it to us. Then he sets it on the bench and he gets a butane torch. Okay, in his next video, he showed us this electric mouse killing thing. You know, rechargeable and clean, and you don't have to look at Mickey's broken neck, you know. And there's this one. I think I saw some of the green of that on screen. Okay, one last grit change. Here's 100. Anyway, he was showing this electric mouse killer, and another YouTube creator showed another electric mouse killer and was nerdgasming, I mean, really, really heavy about the benefits of his electric mouse killer. They sounded very, very much like a GoFundMe or Kickstarter. I was almost expecting him to start telling me, and you can get 14 entire chamois. You know, that kind of pitchman bit he sounded like. Okay, now, 100,000 grit. And yes, I know I didn't go in the house. I sterilized my hoofies. But that's because, as you saw, at 50,000 is working really dry. And there's anyway, lots of color there, lots of it, tons and tons and tons. Now here's this one. Now, as I was saying, the two competing theories of how mechanical polishing works, as opposed to slap a coat of varnish on it and hope it self-levels. You know, mechanical polishing, you start with your coarse grit, you knock down the high spots, get a smooth satin finish all the way across, and you come with the next higher grit, go across it till it's, you keep on going, eventually you wiped away all the scratches. If you get down to like 100,000 grit diamond compound on leather. And there's that one. Ooh, I see green on screen. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hey, I have to take my excitement where I can get it. At 68 years old, on a limited budget, you know, I can't afford any of them $4,000 pieces of opal that Justin at Black Opal Direct is cutting. Well, wish I could. Justin, if you're out there watching this video, put a comment down below. We can communicate and you can send me some really nice stuff. I mean, you could add a prescript to the video I make cutting it on the line of, see, my stuff is so good even that idiot in California, Poppy, can cut a good stuff. Think about it. Now in the machine shop, they talk about polishing metal, and I know whereof I speak when I talk about in the machine shop, because I spent many, many, many hours standing at a lathe, or a milling machine, or a surface grinder, or a drill press. You catch the drift? Okay, when we talk about polishing, it's obvious that we're talking about an abrasive this way, then that way, then this way, then that way, with ever decreasing particle size on our abrasives. And depending on the metal, you know, they might get it to 400 with black silicon carbide wet dry paper, and go straight to the triple E on a muslin wheel. Or they may start getting out. They may start getting out the sacrificial wooden sticks and putting diamond compound on them. You know, they might just be. Yeah, now working the point. And there we go. pear shape, fairly high dome, and this has got that serpentine, streaking, I want to call it. Very fine. Well, gang, it has hit that time when I have to when I have to call it a night. Put you here so I don't lose you. So, good night from California. Next video will be stills of these 4 stones after I go in, undop them, and put them under this camera on the microscope stand. Well, actually it's a drill press, an accessory stand, but microscope now. Good night.